Right now, as you rest here listening to these words, approximately 1/3 of Earth's human population is asleep. Billions of people simultaneously lying unconscious, their brains generating vivid hallucinations we call dreams, their bodies paralyzed to prevent them from acting out those dreams, their consciousness temporarily suspended in a state so profoundly different from waking that we still don't fully understand why it exists at all. And here's what makes sleep even more mysterious. Every animal with a nervous system sleeps in some form, from insects to elephants, from fish to humans, despite the fact that sleep seems evolutionarily disadvantageous, making organisms vulnerable to predators, unable to find food or mates, essentially wasting time that could be spent on survival activities. Yet sleep persists across all species, suggesting it serves functions so critical that evolution cannot eliminate it. Functions so fundamental that organisms would rather risk death during unconsciousness than go without sleep. And the consequences of sleep deprivation prove this point. After just a few days without sleep, humans experience hallucinations, cognitive breakdown, and eventually death, demonstrating that sleep is not optional rest, but a biological necessity as essential as food or water. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. This is a space dedicated to exploring the world's most fascinating facts in a calm, meditative way. A place where curiosity meets quietness, where profound truths become companions for drifting off. If you're new to these journeys, I'd be grateful if you'd subscribe and turn on notifications. These explorations continue because of listeners like you, and your presence here makes all the difference. Tonight, let's explore together the state you're gradually entering. A mysterious process that occupies 1/3 of human life, yet remains one of neuroscience's deepest puzzles. Let's talk about sleep, not as simple unconsciousness, but as an active, complex, precisely orchestrated series of brain states that restore the body, consolidate memories, regulate emotions, and perform countless other functions we're only beginning to understand. Functions so crucial that without sleep, the mind and body slowly collapse. Sleep is not a single state, but a cycle of distinct stages, each with characteristic brainwave patterns, each serving different functions. When you first close your eyes and begin to relax, your brain transitions from waking beta waves, fast, irregular patterns associated with alert consciousness, to alpha waves, slower and more regular, associated with calm wakefulness. This is the drowsy period, where you're still aware, but thoughts begin to drift, where external sounds fade in importance, where the boundary between waking and sleeping blurs. You're not yet asleep, but you're no longer fully awake, existing in a liminal state between consciousness and unconsciousness. And here's what happens as you cross that boundary into sleep. You enter stage 1 of non-REM sleep, the lightest sleep stage, lasting just a few minutes. Brainwaves slow to theta rhythms, consciousness fades, and you lose awareness of your surroundings, though you can still be easily awakened. Many people experience sudden muscle jerks during this stage, hypnic jerks or sleep starts, possibly evolutionary remnants from when our ancestors slept in trees, a final check to ensure you're safely positioned before deeper sleep. You might also experience hypnagogic hallucinations, brief, vivid sensory experiences, sometimes visual patterns, sometimes sounds or sensations that seem real, despite being generated entirely by your brain transitioning between wake and sleep states. Which brings us to stage 2 sleep, where you spend roughly half of your total sleep time. Brainwaves continue slowing, but this stage is characterized by 2 distinctive features: sleep spindles and K-complexes. Sleep spindles are brief bursts of rapid brain activity, lasting a second or two, occurring roughly every 10 to 20 seconds throughout stage 2 sleep. These spindles are associated with memory consolidation, particularly the transfer of information from short-term to long-term memory. The more sleep spindles you generate, research suggests, the better your memory performance. K-complexes are large, sharp wave patterns that help suppress cortical arousal, keeping you asleep despite external stimuli like sounds or touch. Your brain is actively working to maintain sleep, filtering out irrelevant sensory information that might wake you. And this leads to something remarkable about stage 3, also called slow-wave sleep or deep sleep. Brain waves dramatically slow to delta waves, large, synchronized oscillations where vast populations of neurons fire together in rhythmic patterns. This is the deepest non-REM sleep stage, when arousal threshold is highest. Loud sounds or physical touch might not wake you, and if you are awakened from deep sleep, you'll be confused, disoriented, groggy for several minutes. Deep sleep is when the body performs most physical restoration. Growth hormone is released, promoting tissue repair and muscle growth. Immune system functioning is enhanced. Cellular repair mechanisms activate. Deep sleep appears essential for physical health, and consistent lack of deep sleep is associated with numerous health problems, including weakened immunity, increased inflammation, and metabolic dysfunction. But there's more to deep sleep than just physical restoration. The brain is extraordinarily active during slow-wave sleep, though in ways completely different from waking. The glymphatic system, a waste clearance system in the brain, is most active during deep sleep, flushing out metabolic waste products that accumulated during waking hours. Cerebrospinal fluid flows through the brain more freely during sleep, washing away toxic proteins including beta amyloid, which is associated with Alzheimer's disease. This cleaning process appears to be one reason why chronic sleep deprivation increases risk of neurodegenerative diseases. Without sufficient deep sleep, the brain cannot adequately clear waste, allowing toxic proteins to accumulate. Consider for a moment what this means for your brain right now as you rest. Your conscious awareness is fading, your perception of external reality diminishing, but your brain is not shutting down. It's transitioning to different operations, different priorities. Where waking consciousness focuses on external sensory input and goal-directed behavior, sleeping consciousness turns inward, performing maintenance, consolidation, restoration. Your brain is essentially doing housekeeping, taking out the garbage, organizing memories, repairing damage, preparing for tomorrow's challenges. This isn't passive shutdown, but active restructuring, as metabolically demanding as many waking activities, yet producing no conscious experience, no sense of time passing, no memory formation under normal circumstances. And alongside these non-REM stages, there's REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, the state where most vivid dreaming occurs. REM sleep first appears about 90 minutes after sleep onset, after you've progressed through the non-REM stages. During REM, brain activity increases dramatically, approaching waking levels in many regions, yet you remain unconscious, and your body becomes temporarily paralyzed except for the eyes, which move rapidly beneath closed lids, the rapid eye movements that give this stage its name. This paralysis, called REM atonia, is crucial. It prevents you from acting out dreams, from moving or speaking in response to dream content. When REM atonia fails, REM behavior disorder results, where people physically enact dreams, sometimes injuring themselves or bed partners. REM sleep brain activity is paradoxical. The brain is highly active, consuming nearly as much energy as during waking, yet you're deeply unconscious, disconnected from external reality, experiencing internally generated hallucinations, dreams, that feel completely real until you wake. The emotional centers of the brain, particularly the amygdala, are highly active during REM sleep, perhaps explaining why dreams often have strong emotional content: fear, joy, anxiety, excitement, sometimes more intense than waking emotions. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logical thinking, critical evaluation, and self-awareness, is relatively inactive, explaining why dreams feel logical during the experience, despite containing impossible events, inconsistencies, and absurdities that waking consciousness would immediately recognize. And here's what makes REM sleep particularly important. It appears essential for emotional regulation and memory consolidation, particularly for procedural memories, skills and habits, and emotional memories. Studies show that REM sleep deprivation impairs learning of complex motor tasks, disrupts emotional processing, and increases emotional reactivity. People deprived of REM sleep show exaggerated negative emotional responses to mildly negative stimuli, suggesting REM sleep helps calibrate emotional responses, preventing overreaction to minor stresses. REM sleep may serve as a form of overnight therapy, allowing the brain to process emotional experiences in a safe context, where the chemistry of stress hormones is suppressed, helping integrate emotional memories without being overwhelmed by them. Which brings us to the question of dreams themselves and what they mean. Throughout history, humans have sought meaning in dreams, prophetic visions, messages from gods, windows into the unconscious mind. Modern neuroscience offers more prosaic explanations. Dreams are byproducts of memory consolidation, random neural activation interpreted by pattern-seeking consciousness, simulations that help prepare for waking challenges. But dreams remain mysterious. Why do they often feel meaningful? Why do they sometimes solve problems that stumped waking consciousness? Why do they access memories and emotions seemingly buried in the unconscious? The experience of dreaming, of inhabiting a fully realized alternate reality, of experiencing impossible events as normal, of feeling emotions intensely, remains one of consciousness's strangest phenomena. And this leads to something equally fascinating about lucid dreaming: becoming aware you're dreaming while still asleep, maintaining dream consciousness while gaining some waking metacognition. Lucid dreamers report being able to control dream content, to fly, to change scenarios at will, to explore dream landscapes with deliberate intention. Research confirms that lucid dreaming is real. Brain imaging shows that during lucid dreams, prefrontal cortex activity increases compared to normal dreaming, suggesting that lucid dreaming represents a hybrid state with some features of both REM sleep and waking consciousness. Some people lucid dream spontaneously. Others develop the skill through practice, using techniques like reality testing, regularly checking during waking whether you're dreaming so the habit carries into dreams, or mnemonic induction, where you tell yourself before sleep that you'll recognize you're dreaming. But there's more to sleep architecture than just individual stages. Sleep proceeds in cycles, roughly 90 to 110 minutes each, where you progress from light sleep to deep sleep to REM, then begin the cycle again. The composition of these cycles changes across the night. Early cycles contain more deep sleep, providing the physical restoration and waste clearance most needed after a day of activity. Later cycles contain more REM sleep, perhaps because memory consolidation and emotional processing can occur more safely once the body has received basic restoration. By morning, you might be spending most of your time in REM sleep, transitioning between REM and stage 2 with little or no deep sleep, which is why most memorable dreams occur near morning. You're closer to waking consciousness, making dream recall more likely. This cycling architecture explains why sleep duration matters. Sleeping just 4 or 5 hours truncates the later cycles, reducing REM sleep even though you obtained some deep sleep. This creates cognitive and emotional deficits despite getting some rest. Conversely, sleeping very long, 9 or 10 hours, provides additional REM cycles, which might benefit memory and emotional processing, but doesn't necessarily provide more deep sleep, since that concentrates in early cycles. The relationship between sleep duration and quality is complex. More isn't always better, and timing matters as much as quantity. And here's what makes sleep timing particularly important. Your body operates on circadian rhythms, internal 24-hour cycles regulating sleep-wake patterns, hormone release, body temperature, metabolism, and countless other processes. These rhythms are controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus, which receives light information from the eyes and synchronizes internal cycles to the external day-night cycle. When these rhythms align with your sleep schedule, sleep is deeper and more restorative. When they misalign, as happens with shift work, jet lag, or social jet lag from inconsistent sleep schedules, sleep quality suffers even if duration is adequate. You might lie in bed for 8 hours, but get poor quality sleep because you're trying to sleep when your circadian system thinks you should be awake. Circadian rhythms are influenced by light exposure, particularly blue light wavelengths that signal daytime to the brain. Morning light exposure advances circadian rhythms, helping you wake earlier. Evening light exposure delays them, making you sleep later. Modern electric lighting, particularly screens emitting blue light, disrupts natural rhythms by providing artificial daylight signals at night, suppressing melatonin, the hormone signaling nighttime, and making sleep onset difficult. This explains why reducing screen time before bed and using dim, warm lighting in evening hours improves sleep quality. You're allowing your circadian system to naturally wind down towards sleep rather than fighting artificial daylight signals. But there's more to sleep regulation than circadian rhythms. Sleep pressure, the drive to sleep, accumulates throughout waking hours through adenosine buildup. Adenosine is a byproduct of cellular energy metabolism, accumulating in the brain during waking activity, binding to receptors that promote sleepiness. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine accumulates, the stronger sleep pressure becomes. During sleep, adenosine is cleared, reducing sleep pressure, which is why you feel refreshed after good sleep. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors. It doesn't provide energy, but masks sleepiness, preventing adenosine from signaling that you need rest. This is why caffeine late in the day can disrupt sleep. Adenosine continues accumulating, but caffeine blocks the sleepy signal until caffeine clears from your system, by which point adenosine levels are very high, potentially causing sleep disruption. Consider for a moment the two-process model of sleep regulation. Circadian rhythms, process C, determining when sleep is appropriate, and homeostatic sleep pressure, process S, determining how much sleep you need. These processes interact but operate independently. Strong sleep pressure can override circadian alerting signals. Staying awake for 24 hours makes you sleepy even at times when circadian rhythm says you should be alert. Conversely, low sleep pressure due to recent sleep can make staying awake difficult during circadian troughs, the afternoon dip around 2 to 4 p.m. when alertness naturally drops. Understanding these processes helps explain why sleep problems occur and how to address them. Improving sleep often requires addressing both circadian timing and sleep pressure, ensuring they're aligned rather than conflicting. And alongside these regulatory processes, there's the question of individual differences in sleep needs. The often cited 8 hours is an average, not a universal requirement. Sleep needs vary. Some people function optimally on 7 hours, others need 9. A few rare individuals with genetic mutations function normally on just 4 or 5 hours. Sleep needs also change across lifespan. Newborns sleep 14 to 17 hours daily, mostly in short bouts. Teenagers need 8 to 10 hours and have naturally delayed circadian rhythms, making early school starts biologically inappropriate. Older adults often sleep less deeply with more frequent awakenings, though they still need adequate total sleep. Chronotype, whether you're naturally a morning person, lark, or evening person, owl, has genetic components, creating natural variation in when people feel most alert and when they prefer sleeping. Which brings us to the epidemic of sleep deprivation affecting modern society. Studies suggest that a significant percentage of adults sleep less than they need, accumulating sleep debt that impairs cognitive function, emotional regulation, immune function, metabolic health, and increases risks of chronic diseases including obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. Sleep deprivation is normalized, treated as badge of productivity rather than health hazard, yet its effects are profound and cumulative. Even moderate sleep restriction, 6 hours nightly instead of needed 8, accumulates deficits that impair performance as severely as staying awake 24 hours straight. Yet because people adapt subjectively, they don't realize how impaired they are. This creates a dangerous situation where sleep-deprived individuals function poorly while believing they're fine, making errors in judgment, reaction time, and decision-making without awareness. And here's what makes sleep deprivation particularly insidious. It affects metacognition, your ability to accurately assess your own capabilities. Sleep-deprived people typically rate their performance more positively than it actually is, creating overconfidence despite objective impairment. This is why drowsy driving is so dangerous. People think they're okay to drive when they're actually severely impaired, with reaction times and judgment comparable to drunk driving. Sleep deprivation contributes to countless accidents, errors, and poor decisions across industries. Medical errors, transportation accidents, industrial disasters. Yet because sleep loss is invisible, its role often goes unrecognized. But there's more to sleep problems than just insufficient duration. Sleep disorders affect millions, insomnia making sleep difficult despite adequate opportunity, sleep apnea causing repeated breathing interruptions that fragment sleep, restless leg syndrome creating uncomfortable sensations that prevent rest, narcolepsy causing sudden sleep attacks during waking, circadian rhythm disorders where internal timing misaligns with societal schedules. These disorders have serious health consequences, yet many go undiagnosed and untreated because people don't recognize symptoms as medical problems or dismiss them as minor annoyances rather than conditions requiring treatment. And this connects to something deeper about modern life's conflict with biological sleep needs. Electric lighting, 24-hour schedules, shift work, global communication across time zones, screen-based entertainment available anytime. All these create environments radically different from the natural conditions under which human sleep evolved. For most of human history, darkness meant sleep. There was little to do after sunset without artificial light, and waking activities naturally compressed into daylight hours. Modern technology freed us from this constraint, but our biology hasn't changed. We still need darkness signaling night, still need consistent sleep schedules, still require adequate duration. The mismatch between modern environments and biological needs creates widespread sleep problems that require conscious effort to address. And as you drift deeper now, your awareness dissolving, your thoughts scattering like leaves on wind, recognize that sleep is not weakness, not wasted time, not something to minimize or overcome, but fundamental biological need, as essential as food or water, as important for health as exercise or nutrition. Your brain knows this, which is why it drives you towards sleep with increasing urgency when deprived, why it eventually forces micro-sleeps, brief lapses into sleep lasting seconds when deprivation becomes severe enough. Sleep is not optional luxury, but biological necessity, and understanding this helps prioritize it properly, helps create conditions supporting good sleep, helps recognize when sleep problems require attention rather than dismissal. Rest now, allowing the natural process to unfold, trusting that your brain knows what it needs, that sleep serves purposes beyond conscious understanding, that this nightly journey into unconsciousness is essential for tomorrow's consciousness, for memory, for emotion, for health, for life itself. The moment of falling asleep, the transition from waking to sleeping consciousness, is impossible to experience directly. You can feel yourself getting drowsy, notice your thoughts becoming disconnected and dreamlike, sense awareness fading. But the actual moment when consciousness extinguishes itself eludes direct observation, because observing requires the consciousness that's disappearing. This creates a peculiar gap in experience, a boundary you cross every night, yet can never remember crossing. One moment you're awake, thinking about falling asleep, and the next moment, subjectively instantaneous though hours may have passed, you're waking, with no memory of the transition, no sense of time elapsed. Sleep creates temporal discontinuity in experience, making 8 hours pass in what feels like an instant, collapsing time in ways unique to this state. And here's what makes this temporal distortion even stranger. Sometimes, you dream you're falling asleep or waking up, creating nested layers of consciousness, where dream you thinks they're transitioning between sleep and wake, while actual you remains sleeping. These false awakenings can be vivid and convincing. You dream you've gotten out of bed, started your day, gone through morning routines, only to actually wake and realize everything was dream. The confusion can be profound. Which memories are real, which dreamed? The boundary between sleep and wake, seemingly clear from outside, becomes ambiguous from within, revealing how much of what we call reality depends on the particular state of consciousness experiencing it. Which brings us to understand something remarkable about sleep inertia: the grogginess, confusion, and impaired performance immediately after waking. Sleep inertia is most severe when waking from deep sleep, when the brain must transition from slow delta waves to faster waking rhythms, when neural networks supporting consciousness must reactivate after being largely offline. This transition isn't instantaneous. It can take 15 to 30 minutes or more for full alertness to return, creating a period where you're technically awake, but cognitively impaired, with reduced reaction time, poor judgment, and difficulty with complex thinking. This is why making important decisions immediately after waking is unwise, why alarms shocking you from deep sleep leave you disoriented, why the first minutes of morning often feel fuzzy and confused. The severity of sleep inertia relates partly to which sleep stage you wake from. Waking from stage 2 or REM sleep produces less inertia than waking from deep sleep, because brain activity during these lighter stages is closer to waking levels, requiring less dramatic transition. This explains why waking naturally, when your body has completed sufficient sleep cycles and transitions to lighter sleep before waking, generally feels better than being awakened abruptly by alarm. Natural waking typically occurs from light sleep, producing minimal inertia, while alarm-forced waking can interrupt any sleep stage, potentially pulling you from deep sleep and creating significant grogginess. And this leads to something equally fascinating about the concept of polyphasic sleep. Attempting to reduce total sleep time by distributing it across multiple shorter periods throughout the day, rather than one long nighttime block. Some historical figures reportedly practiced polyphasic sleep. Leonardo da Vinci allegedly sleeping 20 minutes every 4 hours, though historical evidence is often unreliable. Modern attempts at extreme polyphasic schedules, like the Uberman schedule with 6 20-minute naps evenly distributed across 24 hours, generally fail because they don't provide adequate time for complete sleep cycles, particularly sufficient REM and deep sleep stages. However, more moderate polyphasic approaches can work for some people. The siesta culture, nighttime sleep plus afternoon nap, is a natural form of biphasic sleep that aligns with circadian dips in alertness. Many people naturally feel sleepy in early afternoon, a phenomenon called the post-lunch dip that occurs regardless of eating, suggesting a biological basis. A short afternoon nap, 20 to 30 minutes, short enough to avoid entering deep sleep, can boost alertness, improve mood, and enhance cognitive performance without significantly interfering with nighttime sleep. This biphasic pattern may actually align better with human biology than strict monophasic sleep, though modern work schedules rarely accommodate it. But there's more to napping than simple alertness benefits. Research shows that naps benefit memory consolidation. Information learned before napping is better retained than without napping. Short naps primarily provide stage 2 sleep with its sleep spindles, supporting declarative memory consolidation. Longer naps, 60 to 90 minutes, include full sleep cycles with deep sleep and REM, providing broader benefits but risking sleep inertia upon waking and potentially interfering with nighttime sleep if taken too late in the day. Strategic napping requires balancing benefits against costs, considering timing, duration, and individual sleep needs. Consider for a moment how different cultures structure sleep differently. Industrialized Western societies generally favor monophasic sleep, one long nighttime sleep block, aligned with work schedules and electric lighting that extends productive hours. But this pattern isn't universal or historically standard. Before electric lighting, many people practiced segmented sleep. First, sleep for several hours after dark, a waking period of 1 to 2 hours around midnight for quiet activities, then second sleep until morning. Historical records and diaries reference this pattern casually, suggesting it was normal rather than unusual. The consolidation into single sleep blocks may be relatively recent, driven by industrialization and artificial lighting rather than being natural human pattern. And alongside cultural variations, there's individual variation in sleep architecture and needs that isn't always pathological. Short sleepers, people who genuinely need and get only 4 to 6 hours nightly without impairment, exist but are rare, likely less than 5% of the population. Most people claiming to be short sleepers are actually chronically sleep deprived and don't recognize their impairment. But true short sleepers have genetic variants affecting sleep regulation, allowing them to obtain necessary restoration in less time. Conversely, some people are naturally long sleepers, needing 9 or more hours to feel rested, not because something's wrong, but because their biology requires it. Treating long sleep as laziness or short sleep as admirable virtue ignores biological reality. People have different needs, and both extremes can be healthy when they represent genuine biological requirements rather than sleep disorders or deprivation. Which brings us to the question of what happens during sleep to learning and memory. Sleep doesn't just passively preserve memories. It actively processes, reorganizes, and integrates them. The initial encoding of memories occurs during waking, but consolidation, the process stabilizing and strengthening memories, happens primarily during sleep. Different sleep stages consolidate different types of memories. Deep sleep is crucial for declarative memories, facts, events, experiences, and for transferring information from temporary hippocampal storage to permanent cortical storage. REM sleep particularly benefits procedural memories, skills, habits, motor sequences, and integrates new information with existing knowledge structures. During sleep, recently encoded memories are replayed. Neural patterns that fired during learning reactivate during sleep, particularly during sleep spindles and sharp wave ripples, brief bursts of high-frequency activity in the hippocampus. This replay strengthens synaptic connections, making memories more resistant to interference and more easily retrieved later. But consolidation isn't simple copying, it's reconstructive. Sleep extracts patterns, identifies relationships, integrates new information with existing knowledge, sometimes generating insights impossible during waking. The phenomenon of sleeping on it, finding solutions to problems after sleep that seemed intractable before, reflects this active reorganization. And here's what makes sleep's role in creativity particularly interesting. REM sleep, especially, supports flexible thinking and novel associations. During REM, the brain's normal constraints relax. The prefrontal cortex's logical gatekeeping diminishes, allowing unusual connections between distant concepts. This may explain why creative insights often emerge from dreams or immediately after waking. Sleep has loosened associative structures, allowing novel combinations that waking consciousness might dismiss as illogical. Many famous creative breakthroughs reportedly occurred during or after sleep. Mendeleev's periodic table, Kekulé's benzene structure, Paul McCartney's Yesterday. Whether these anecdotes are entirely accurate or partly mythologized, they reflect the real phenomenon that sleep can facilitate creative problem-solving through mechanisms distinct from waking thought. But there's more to sleep's cognitive benefits than memory and creativity. Sleep appears essential for clearing the mental clutter that accumulates during waking. Not just metabolic waste, as mentioned earlier, but also synaptic normalization. During waking, synapses, connections between neurons, strengthen as you learn and experience. This synaptic potentiation is necessary for encoding information, but has costs. It requires energy, space, and cellular resources. If synapses only strengthened and never weakened, the brain would become saturated, unable to encode new information efficiently. Sleep, according to the synaptic homeostasis hypothesis, provides a period of global synaptic downscaling, weakening synapses proportionally, preserving relative strengths and thus memories, while reducing overall synaptic burden, creating capacity for new learning tomorrow. This downscaling may explain why sleep deprivation impairs learning. Without adequate sleep, your brain reaches synaptic saturation, unable to efficiently encode new information because there's no capacity left. It's like a hard drive nearly full. You can't save new files until you delete or compress old ones. Sleep performs this compression, maintaining important information while clearing less important details, creating space for tomorrow's experiences. This suggests that sleep isn't just beneficial for memory, but essential. Without it, the brain's capacity to learn saturates, creating cognitive impairment that worsens with continued deprivation. And this connects to something deeper about why sleep evolved and persists despite apparent costs. From evolutionary perspective, sleep seems maladaptive. Unconsciousness prevents predator detection, foraging, mating, territorial defense. Yet sleep is universal among animals with nervous systems, suggesting benefits so crucial they outweigh vulnerability costs. These benefits, synaptic homeostasis, memory consolidation, metabolic restoration, immune function, emotional regulation, waste clearance, are apparently so essential that evolution cannot eliminate sleep without causing catastrophic impairment. Animals that tried to reduce or eliminate sleep failed. They couldn't compete with sleeping animals despite the time advantage, because cognitive and physiological functions collapsed without sleep's restorative processes. This evolutionary persistence, despite apparent costs, reveals something profound about biological necessity. Not everything that seems wasteful is wasteful. Sometimes processes that appear inefficient are actually essential, performing functions that aren't immediately obvious but are crucial for long-term survival. Sleep is one such process. It seems like wasted time from narrow perspective of immediate productivity, but from broader perspective of lifetime health and function, it's absolutely essential. Recognizing this helps reframe sleep not as luxury or laziness, but as biological imperative deserving protection and prioritization. Consider for a moment the relationship between sleep and emotion. Sleep deprivation doesn't just impair cognition. It dramatically affects emotional state and regulation. Sleep-deprived people show increased reactivity to negative stimuli, enhanced fear responses, reduced positive affect, and difficulty regulating emotional responses. Brain imaging reveals that sleep deprivation reduces connectivity between amygdala, emotion center, and prefrontal cortex, regulatory center, essentially removing the brakes on emotional responses. This explains why minor frustrations feel overwhelming when sleep-deprived, why arguments escalate more easily, why emotional resilience collapses with insufficient sleep. Conversely, adequate sleep, particularly REM sleep, improves emotional regulation and resilience. REM sleep appears to process emotional experiences, particularly negative ones, reducing their emotional charge while preserving factual content. This allows integration of difficult experiences without being overwhelmed by associated emotions, a form of natural emotional therapy occurring nightly. Chronic sleep disruption interferes with this processing, contributing to anxiety and depression. Indeed, virtually all psychiatric disorders show sleep disturbances, and treating sleep problems often improves psychiatric symptoms. Sleep and mental health are bidirectionally related. Poor sleep worsens mental health, and mental health problems disrupt sleep, creating vicious cycles that require addressing both components. And alongside emotional regulation, there's the relationship between sleep and physical health. Inadequate sleep affects virtually every physiological system. Immune function declines. Sleep-deprived people are more susceptible to infections and show reduced vaccine responses. Metabolic regulation worsens. Sleep loss increases hunger hormones while decreasing satiety signals, increases insulin resistance, and promotes fat storage, contributing to obesity and diabetes risk. Cardiovascular stress increases. Blood pressure rises. Inflammatory markers increase. Heart disease risk climbs. Even cellular aging accelerates. Telomeres, chromosome caps that shorten with age, shorten faster with chronic sleep restriction. The health consequences of inadequate sleep are pervasive and cumulative, affecting longevity and quality of life across decades. But there's more to sleep and health than just avoiding deficiency. Sleep quality matters as much as quantity. Fragmented sleep, frequent awakenings, frequent stage transitions, provides less restoration than continuous sleep of the same duration. Sleep apnea, for example, causes repeated breathing interruptions that fragment sleep without the person consciously waking, leading to severe daytime sleepiness and health problems despite spending adequate time in bed. Similarly, environmental disruptions, noise, light, uncomfortable temperatures, fragment sleep even if total duration seems adequate. Optimizing sleep requires considering both duration and continuity, creating conditions allowing uninterrupted progression through sleep cycles. Which brings us to practical sleep hygiene, behaviors and environmental modifications supporting good sleep. Consistent sleep schedules, even on weekends, help stabilize circadian rhythms. Dark, quiet, cool sleeping environments minimize disruptions. Blackout curtains block light. Earplugs or white noise mask sounds. Temperatures around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit optimize comfort. Avoiding caffeine after early afternoon. Limiting alcohol, which fragments sleep despite seeming to help falling asleep. And avoiding large meals close to bedtime prevent physiological disruptions. Regular exercise improves sleep quality, though vigorous exercise close to bedtime can be stimulating. Managing stress through relaxation techniques, avoiding anxiety-provoking content before bed, and creating pre-sleep wind-down routines all support the transition from waking to sleeping. And here's what makes sleep hygiene particularly important. Many sleep problems are behavioral rather than medical, caused by habits and environments that fight against biological sleep mechanisms. Modern life creates numerous sleep-hostile conditions. Blue light from screens suppressing melatonin, irregular schedules desynchronizing circadian rhythms, stimulating content raising arousal before bed, stress and anxiety activating systems incompatible with sleep. Addressing these behavioral factors often dramatically improves sleep without requiring medication, simply by removing obstacles and creating conditions supporting natural sleep processes. And as you rest here now, your awareness fading further, your body's system shifting into sleep mode, your breathing slowing and deepening, your muscles releasing tension. Trust that your brain knows what to do. Sleep is not something you accomplish through effort, but something you allow by releasing effort, by letting go of waking consciousness, by permitting the natural transition from one state to another. You cannot force sleep, cannot will it into being. but you can create conditions allowing it to emerge naturally, like water flowing downhill when barriers are removed. The harder you try to sleep, the more elusive it becomes. But when you release trying, when you simply rest with passive awareness, sleep comes on its own, gently, inevitably, carrying you into the realm where dreams arise, where the day's memories consolidate, where the body repairs itself, where consciousness temporarily dissolves, only to return renewed when morning comes. The dreams you experience during sleep are constructed from fragments of your waking life. People you've seen, places you've been, emotions you've felt, worries you carry. Yet they're recombined in ways that would seem bizarre if you encountered them while awake. A childhood friend appears in your current workplace. Your deceased grandmother offers advice about problems she never knew about. You're simultaneously in two places at once, or you possess abilities impossible in waking reality, like flying or breathing underwater. The dreaming brain takes memory fragments and weaves them into narratives that feel coherent during the dream, despite containing logical impossibilities, temporal contradictions, and physical absurdities. This reveals something profound about how the brain constructs reality. Whether waking or sleeping, your experience is always a construction, an internal model built from sensory data and memory, constrained by physics and logic when awake, but freed from those constraints during dreams. And here's what makes dream content particularly revealing. Dreams often reflect emotional concerns more than literal events. You might dream about being unprepared for an exam decades after finishing school, reflecting current anxieties about being unprepared or judged. You might dream about being unable to run or scream when threatened, reflecting feelings of powerlessness in waking life. The manifest content, the literal dream events, may be nonsensical, but the latent content, the underlying emotions and concerns, is often quite meaningful. Freud called dreams the royal road to the unconscious, suggesting they reveal hidden desires and conflicts. While modern neuroscience offers different interpretations, the observation that dreams reflect emotional preoccupations remains valid. Dreams are emotionally truthful, even when factually absurd. Which brings us to understand something remarkable about the neurochemistry of dreaming. During REM sleep, the brain's chemical environment changes dramatically from waking. Norepinephrine, associated with stress and focused attention, drops to nearly zero, creating a context where emotional memories can be processed without triggering fight or flight responses. Acetylcholine levels remain high, promoting vivid imagery and narrative construction. Serotonin and dopamine levels shift, affecting mood and motivation in dreams. This unique neurochemical state allows emotional processing in a context fundamentally different from waking. You can encounter fears, process traumas, experience intense emotions without the physiological stress response those emotions would trigger while awake. This may be why REM sleep is so important for emotional regulation. It provides a safe space for processing difficult emotions. But there's more to the function of dreams than emotional processing. The threat simulation theory proposes that dreams evolved as a safe environment for practicing responses to dangerous situations. Ancestrally, encountering predators, hostile humans, environmental hazards was common, and surviving required effective threat responses. Dreams often involve threatening situations, being chased, falling, being attacked, losing loved ones, allowing the brain to rehearse threat responses without actual danger. While your body is paralyzed during REM sleep, your brain activates the neural circuits that would respond to real threats, essentially conducting fire drills that strengthen those circuits, making real threat responses more effective. This theory explains why nightmares are common even in people without trauma. The brain is doing its evolutionary job of preparing for dangers. And this leads to something equally fascinating about recurring dreams. Dreams with similar themes, settings, or narratives that repeat across months or years. Recurring dreams often reflect unresolved issues, ongoing stressors, or deeply ingrained concerns. The dream might not be identical each time. Details vary, characters change, but the core theme persists. Being trapped, being chased, being lost, being unprepared. These recurring patterns suggest the brain is repeatedly attempting to process something unresolved, trying different approaches to integrate an emotional concern or solve a psychological problem. When the underlying issue is addressed in waking life, anxiety resolved, problem solved, emotion processed, the recurring dream often stops or changes, suggesting its work is done. Consider for a moment the experience of nightmares and what distinguishes them from normal, unpleasant dreams. Nightmares typically involve intense fear, helplessness, or horror, often waking the dreamer with heart pounding and adrenaline surging, despite the body's chemical systems being designed to prevent such responses during sleep. Nightmares are common. Occasional nightmares affect most people, particularly during stress, illness, or after disturbing waking experiences. Frequent nightmares, occurring weekly or more, can indicate underlying issues like anxiety disorders, PTSD, or sleep disorders, and may require treatment because they disrupt sleep quality and contribute to daytime distress. PTSD-related nightmares are particularly severe, often replaying traumatic events with distressing vividness. In PTSD, the emotional processing that normally occurs during REM sleep is disrupted. Instead of reducing emotional charge, dreams rehearse the trauma in ways that maintain or increase distress. Specialized treatments like imagery rehearsal therapy help. Patients learn to consciously change nightmare content while awake, rehearsing alternative endings or scenarios, then practicing these revised versions before sleep. Often this reduces nightmare frequency and intensity, suggesting that conscious intervention can influence unconscious dream content, bridging waking and sleeping consciousness in therapeutic ways. And alongside nightmares, there's sleep paralysis, a phenomenon where you wake from REM sleep, but the muscle paralysis persists briefly, leaving you conscious but unable to move, sometimes experiencing vivid hallucinations. Sleep paralysis can be terrifying. You're awake, aware, but frozen, sometimes sensing presences, feeling pressure on your chest, experiencing auditory or visual hallucinations. These experiences have generated folklore across cultures: demons, witches, alien abductions, interpreting the neurological phenomenon through cultural lenses. Sleep paralysis is harmless, though disturbing, typically lasting seconds to minutes before muscle control returns. But the intensity of the experience, being conscious yet paralyzed, sometimes hallucinating, can be distressing enough to cause anxiety about sleeping. But there's more to unusual sleep experiences than paralysis and nightmares. Sleep talking, somniloquy, occurs when motor control of speech briefly reactivates during sleep, allowing vocalization without waking. Sleep talking usually occurs during transitions between sleep stages, when muscle paralysis is incomplete. The content ranges from incomprehensible mumbling to clear sentences, sometimes revealing thoughts or concerns, other times producing nonsensical phrases. Most people have no memory of sleep talking, learning about it only from bed partners or roommates. Similarly, sleepwalking, somnambulism, involves complex motor behaviors during deep sleep, when muscle paralysis is naturally less complete than during REM. Sleepwalkers can navigate rooms, perform routine tasks, even have brief conversations, all while remaining asleep with no subsequent memory. These parasomnias, abnormal behaviors during sleep, are more common in children whose sleep systems are still maturing and often decrease with age. But they can persist or emerge in adults, sometimes triggered by stress, sleep deprivation, alcohol, or medications. Severe or dangerous parasomnias, injuring oneself or others, leaving the house, eating inappropriate substances, require medical evaluation and treatment. Understanding that these behaviors occur from unconscious states, not deliberate choice, is important for those experiencing them and those living with affected individuals. Which brings us to the question of dreamless sleep and whether it truly exists. People often report sleeping without dreaming, waking with no dream memory, assuming they didn't dream. But research suggests that dreaming occurs throughout sleep, not just during REM. Non-REM dreams tend to be more thought-like, less vivid and narrative than REM dreams, more like quiet mental activity than full sensory experiences. Dreams are often forgotten immediately upon waking, unless waking occurs during or immediately after the dream. So dreamless sleep likely reflects forgotten dreams rather than absence of mental activity. The brain is never truly inactive during sleep. It's always processing, generating some level of mental experience, even if that experience isn't remembered. And this connects to something deeper about memory and consciousness. Memory is not passive recording, but active construction. And dreams highlight this. Dream memories form during the dream, but are typically lost almost immediately, unless consciously rehearsed upon waking. This suggests that dream experiences, while phenomenologically real during the dream, exist in a different memory space than waking experiences, perhaps not deeply encoded, perhaps actively suppressed to avoid confusing dream events with waking reality. The mechanism preventing dream memory formation may be protective. If dreams were remembered as vividly as waking experiences, distinguishing real from dreamed events would become difficult, potentially causing confusion or false memories. But there's more to sleep and memory than just forgetting dreams. Sleep affects waking memories too, particularly emotional memories. Sleep seems to preserve emotional significance while reducing emotional intensity. You remember important events, but with less overwhelming affect. This emotional tempering is adaptive, allowing learning from experiences without being paralyzed by emotional responses. The phrase, "time heals all wounds," may partly reflect sleep's role. Each night of sleep provides emotional processing, gradually reducing pain while preserving memory, allowing integration of difficult experiences without ongoing trauma. Consider for a moment the experience of insomnia and the frustration of wanting sleep but being unable to achieve it. Insomnia takes various forms: difficulty falling asleep, difficulty staying asleep, waking too early, each with different causes and mechanisms. Some insomnia is primary, not caused by other conditions, but representing a standalone sleep disorder. Other insomnia is secondary, resulting from medical conditions, psychiatric disorders, medications, or environmental factors. Chronic insomnia creates vicious cycles. Worry about not sleeping increases arousal, making sleep more difficult, which increases worry, further impairing sleep. The bed becomes associated with frustration and wakefulness rather than rest, perpetuating the problem. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, addresses these cycles through multiple strategies. Sleep restriction temporarily limits time in bed to actual sleep time, rebuilding the association between bed and sleep rather than bed and wakefulness. Stimulus control involves using the bed only for sleep and sex, leaving the bedroom if unable to fall asleep within 20 minutes, returning only when sleepy. Cognitive therapy addresses unhelpful beliefs about sleep, catastrophizing about consequences of poor sleep, unrealistic expectations about sleep needs, replacing them with more accurate, less anxiety-provoking thoughts. CBTI is often more effective than sleep medications for chronic insomnia, addressing underlying causes rather than just symptoms, and producing lasting improvements without medication side effects. And here's what makes sleep medications a complex issue. They can provide short-term relief, but come with significant limitations and risks. Most sleep medications don't produce natural sleep architecture. They sedate, but don't recreate normal sleep stages, particularly REM sleep. Benzodiazepines and Z-drugs, like Zolpidem, work by enhancing GABA, the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, creating drowsiness, but suppressing REM sleep and deep sleep, producing sedation that feels like sleep, but provides less restoration. Tolerance develops quickly. The same dose becomes less effective over time, requiring increasing doses to maintain effect. Dependence can occur, making discontinuation difficult. Stopping suddenly can cause rebound insomnia worse than original insomnia. Long-term use is associated with cognitive impairment, fall risk in older adults, and possibly increased dementia risk. Newer medications, like melatonin receptor agonists and orexin antagonists, work through different mechanisms, potentially with fewer downsides, but still don't perfectly recreate natural sleep. Melatonin itself, available over the counter, is not a sedative, but a circadian regulator. It signals nighttime to the body, helping shift circadian rhythms, but not directly causing sleep. It's most useful for circadian rhythm problems like jet lag or delayed sleep phase, less effective for general insomnia. The key message is that medications have roles: short-term use during acute stress or for specific sleep disorders. But addressing behavioral and environmental factors through sleep hygiene and CBTI often provides better long-term outcomes. But there's more to improving sleep than just treating insomnia. Optimizing sleep for peak performance and health involves fine-tuning multiple factors. Sleep tracking technology, apps, wearables, can provide insights into sleep patterns, though they're not as accurate as polysomnography in sleep laboratories. These tools estimate sleep stages based on movement and sometimes heart rate, offering rough approximations useful for identifying patterns like insufficient deep sleep or frequent awakenings. But they shouldn't be overinterpreted or cause anxiety. Some people develop orthosomnia, obsession with achieving perfect sleep metrics, which, paradoxically, impairs sleep by creating performance anxiety. And this leads to something equally fascinating about sleep and aging. Sleep architecture changes across lifespan in predictable ways. Infants spend about 50% of sleep in REM, adults about 20 to 25%. Deep sleep decreases with age. Older adults have less slow-wave sleep, more light sleep, more frequent awakenings. Circadian rhythms advance. Older adults naturally wake earlier and feel sleepy earlier. These changes are normal aging, not pathology, though they can affect sleep quality and daytime functioning. Sleep disorders also become more common with age. Sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, REM behavior disorder, making medical evaluation important when sleep problems develop or worsen. Understanding normal age-related changes helps set realistic expectations. An older adult shouldn't expect to sleep like a teenager. Sleep will be lighter, more fragmented, possibly shorter. But significant sleep problems at any age deserve attention, not dismissal as just aging. Good sleep is achievable across the lifespan with appropriate strategies, environmental modifications, and medical treatment when needed. Sleep remains essential from infancy to old age, and prioritizing it contributes to health, cognitive function, emotional well-being, and quality of life at every stage. And as you rest here now, your thoughts dispersing like fog under morning sun, your body completely relaxed, your breathing deep and rhythmic. Recognize that you are experiencing something every human who has ever lived has experienced. Something you share with ancestors stretching back millions of years. Back before humans existed. Back to the first organisms with nervous systems complex enough to generate something like consciousness that could be suspended and renewed. Sleep is ancient, universal, fundamental. Not a modern invention or cultural construction, but biological inheritance. A pattern written into your nervous system by evolutionary time, refined across countless generations until it functions with the reliability you're experiencing now. As wakefulness releases its grip and sleep naturally, gently, inevitably unfolds, carrying you into the realm where memories consolidate, where emotions process, where the body heals, where consciousness transforms into something different, yet equally real, equally important, equally worthy of respect and protection. The relationship between sleep and consciousness raises profound philosophical questions that neuroscience is only beginning to address. Where does consciousness go during dreamless deep sleep? Is there any subjective experience during those periods? Or does consciousness genuinely cease, creating gaps in existence that we never notice because there's no one present to notice the gap? When you fall asleep tonight and wake tomorrow morning, is the consciousness that wakes the same consciousness that fell asleep, or has it been interrupted, with a new instance of consciousness emerging that simply has access to memories from before the interruption? These questions, which sound abstract and theoretical, point to deep mysteries about the nature of self, identity, and the continuity of experience that sleep forces us to confront. And here's what makes the problem of consciousness during sleep particularly puzzling. Evidence suggests that some form of experience persists even during deep sleep. When awakened from slow-wave sleep, people sometimes report vague, thought-like experiences. Not vivid dreams, but something like ambient mental activity, feelings without content, awareness without specific objects of awareness. This suggests that consciousness doesn't completely vanish, but transforms into states so different from waking that they're difficult to describe or remember. Perhaps consciousness exists on a spectrum, ranging from rich, detailed waking awareness through various degrees of sleep consciousness to complete absence, and what we call dreamless sleep occupies the dimmer end of that spectrum, rather than representing true absence. Which brings us to understand something remarkable about the neurological correlates of consciousness, and how sleep research contributes to understanding them. When neuroscientists search for the neural basis of consciousness, they look for differences between conscious and unconscious states. Sleep provides a natural laboratory, the same brain in different states, allowing comparison of conscious, waking, REM, and relatively unconscious, deep sleep conditions. Research reveals that consciousness correlates with specific patterns of neural activity, particularly widespread communication between distant brain regions, creating what's called integrated information. During waking and REM sleep, neural signals propagate widely. Different brain regions synchronize and coordinate, creating the rich, unified experience of consciousness. During deep sleep, this widespread integration breaks down. Signals remain more localized. Different regions operate more independently, reducing the complexity and richness of experience. This suggests that consciousness isn't located in a specific brain region, but emerges from patterns of communication across the brain. Sleep modulates consciousness by modulating communication, reducing it during deep sleep, transforming it during REM into forms unconstrained by sensory input or logical consistency. This neuroscientific perspective has implications for understanding other altered states: anesthesia, coma, vegetative states, all involving disrupted neural communication patterns similar to deep sleep, but with different causes and mechanisms. Understanding sleep's effect on consciousness thus illuminates consciousness more generally, revealing it as a dynamic process rather than fixed state, as something brains do rather than something they contain. And this leads to something equally fascinating about lucid dreaming's implications for consciousness research. During lucid dreams, you're simultaneously in two states, experiencing dream consciousness with its vivid imagery and narrative, while also maintaining metacognitive awareness that you're dreaming, accessing some waking-like reflective capacity. Brain imaging confirms this hybrid state. Lucid dreamers show increased frontal lobe activity compared to normal dreamers, particularly in areas associated with self-awareness and executive function. Yet they remain in REM sleep with its characteristic neural patterns. This demonstrates that consciousness has multiple dimensions that can vary independently. You can have rich sensory experience without logical thinking, normal dreams, or logical thinking without sensory input, some meditative states, or various combinations. Sleep and its variations reveal consciousness's multidimensionality in ways difficult to study in ordinary waking. But there's more to sleep research than understanding consciousness. Sleep provides windows into memory, learning, neuroplasticity, how brains change and adapt. The discovery that sleep actively consolidates memories rather than merely preserving them revolutionized understanding of learning. It's not enough to encode information. Consolidation during sleep is necessary for information to become stable, accessible, integrated with existing knowledge. This explains why students who study all night perform worse than those who study and then sleep. The studying without sleep creates temporary encoding, but not stable consolidation. The memories might seem present immediately, but fade rapidly without sleep's consolidation processes. Sleeping on it isn't folk wisdom, but neurological necessity. And here's what makes sleep-dependent learning particularly important for skill acquisition. Procedural learning. Learning how, rather than what, depends heavily on sleep, especially REM sleep. Studies of motor skill learning show that improvement occurs during sleep. Practicing a piano piece, then sleeping, produces better performance than equal time spent awake. The brain is offline processing the skill, running simulations, optimizing neural pathways, without conscious effort or awareness. Athletes, musicians, surgeons, anyone learning complex motor skills should prioritize sleep as part of training, recognizing that sleep is when practiced movements become truly learned, when awkward conscious performance becomes smooth automatic skill. This sleep-dependent skill learning extends beyond motor skills to cognitive skills, social skills, even emotional skills. Learning to regulate emotions, to interpret social cues, to solve problems creatively, all benefit from sleep's offline processing. Children's rapid skill acquisition during development may partly reflect their greater sleep duration and higher proportion of REM sleep, providing more time for consolidation. The decline in learning efficiency with age may partly reflect declining sleep quality, suggesting that protecting sleep in older adults could help maintain cognitive function and learning ability. Consider for a moment the implications of sleep for education and work. Current educational systems often ignore sleep science, scheduling early start times that conflict with adolescent circadian rhythms, expecting students to function on insufficient sleep, assigning homework that extends work into evening hours when students should be winding down. Later school start times consistently show benefits: improved academic performance, reduced absenteeism, better mental health, fewer traffic accidents among teen drivers. Yet implementation remains limited, blocked by logistics and tradition, despite clear evidence that respecting biological sleep needs improves outcomes. Similarly, workplace cultures often devalue sleep, rewarding long hours and early morning arrivals regardless of actual productivity. Yet research shows that sleep-deprived workers are less productive, more error-prone, less creative, and more likely to experience accidents and injuries. Some progressive companies now recognize sleep's importance, providing nap rooms, discouraging after-hours emails, measuring productivity by output rather than hours present. As scientific evidence accumulates, hopefully broader cultural change will follow, recognizing sleep not as laziness, but as biological necessity that supports, rather than detracts from human performance and achievement. But there's more to sleep's societal implications than education and work policies. Sleep inequality exists. Socioeconomically disadvantaged populations often get less and poorer quality sleep due to multiple factors: shift work, multiple jobs, inadequate housing, neighborhood noise, environmental hazards, chronic stress, limited healthcare access. This sleep disparity contributes to health disparities, cognitive disparities, economic disparities in self-perpetuating cycles. Addressing sleep inequality requires addressing broader social inequities, ensuring living wages so people don't need multiple jobs, providing safe, quiet housing, reducing environmental pollution, expanding healthcare access, addressing chronic stressors affecting disadvantaged communities. Sleep justice is social justice. Everyone deserves conditions allowing adequate, restorative sleep. And alongside social issues, there's the environmental aspect. Light pollution affecting sleep across populations. Artificial nighttime light from streetlights, buildings, advertising disrupts circadian rhythms not just for humans, but for countless other species. Nocturnal animals depend on darkness. Their behaviors and physiologies evolved under natural light-dark cycles disrupted by human artificial lighting. Birds, insects, sea turtles, and many other animals suffer from light pollution, contributing to population declines and ecosystem disruption. Dark sky initiatives aim to reduce unnecessary nighttime lighting using shielded fixtures, warmer color temperatures, dimming or shutting off lights when unneeded. These efforts benefit both human sleep and ecological health, demonstrating how sleep is not an isolated individual concern, but connects to broader environmental issues. Which brings us to the question of sleep aids and technologies beyond medication. Apps, devices, sleep tracking, environmental controls. White noise machines and apps can mask disruptive sounds, helping maintain continuous sleep. Smart lighting that adjusts color temperature, bright blue-white during morning, warm-dim during evening, can support circadian rhythms better than standard lighting. Cooling mattresses and bedding can maintain optimal temperature throughout the night. Meditation apps can guide pre-sleep relaxation. These technologies, used wisely, can genuinely help, but they shouldn't substitute for basic sleep hygiene. Consistent schedules, dark, quiet bedrooms, stress management, limited screens before bed. Technology should support natural sleep processes, not replace attention to fundamentals. And here's what makes the future of sleep research particularly exciting. New technologies are revealing sleep mechanisms in unprecedented detail. Optogenetics allows researchers to activate or suppress specific neurons in sleeping animals, revealing which neural populations drive particular sleep stages or phenomena. Brain imaging is becoming more sophisticated, revealing network dynamics during sleep with increasing precision. Closed-loop systems can detect specific sleep stages or brain states in real time and deliver interventions, sounds, magnetic stimulation, electrical stimulation, at precise moments to enhance memory consolidation or deepen sleep. While these technologies are currently research tools, they might eventually translate to clinical applications, helping treat sleep disorders or optimize sleep for health and performance. But there's more to future sleep science than technology. Basic questions remain unanswered. Why exactly do we sleep? We know many functions sleep serves, but is there one primary function, or is sleep multifunctional by nature? Why do different species have such different sleep patterns? Some sleeping hours daily, others just minutes. Some sleeping half their brain at a time, while the other half stays awake. What determines sleep duration needs across individuals? Why do some people genuinely need less sleep than others? As neuroscience advances, answers to these fundamental questions may emerge, transforming understanding not just of sleep, but of brain function, consciousness, and health. And this connects to something deeper about sleep, as a universal human experience that nevertheless remains deeply personal and subjective. Your experience of sleep, how you fall asleep, what you dream about, how rested you feel upon waking, is uniquely yours, shaped by your genetics, life history, current circumstances, health status, emotional state. Yet it's also universal. Everyone sleeps, everyone dreams, everyone needs rest. This combination of universal pattern and individual variation characterizes many fundamental human experiences, reminding us that we're simultaneously unique individuals and members of a species sharing common biological heritage. Consider for a moment how sleep connects past and future. Tonight's sleep consolidates today's experiences, processing what happened, integrating it into your life story, preparing you for tomorrow. It's a bridge between who you were when you fell asleep and who you'll be when you wake. Similar but slightly changed, having processed experiences, having rested and restored. Over years, decades, lifetime, the accumulated effects of sleep, or sleep deprivation, shape who you become, affecting health, cognitive function, emotional well-being, lifespan itself. Sleep is not peripheral to life but central, a foundation supporting everything else you experience and accomplish. And alongside individual life, there's cultural meaning. Sleep in literature, art, mythology, religion. Sleep as brother of death, as escape from troubles, as space for divine messages or supernatural encounters, as metaphor for ignorance or innocence, as transition between worlds. These cultural meanings reflect universal experiences of sleep's mysterious nature. Its resemblance to death, yet difference from it. Its capacity for dreams that seem prophetic or meaningful. Its role as daily death and rebirth, refreshing consciousness. Modern scientific understanding enriches rather than diminishes these meanings, revealing that what seemed metaphorical often reflects biological reality. Sleep really is transition between conscious states, really does provide renewal, really does access aspects of mind not available during waking. And as you rest here now, so deeply relaxed that even awareness of relaxation is fading, so close to sleep that the boundary has become imperceptible, thoughts dissolving into nothing, consciousness dimming like sunset into dusk, into night. Allow yourself to release completely. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, no need to maintain vigilance or control. Your body knows how to sleep. Your brain knows how to transition. Billions of years of evolution have perfected these processes. You need only permit them. Only stop interfering. Only let go of waking consciousness the way you might release a balloon and watch it float away, rising higher, becoming smaller, finally disappearing entirely into the vast sky of sleep. All the day's concerns, all tomorrow's uncertainties, all the endless mental activity that characterizes waking life, none of it needs attention now. It will all be there in the morning, but for these hours, you are free. Free to rest, to dream, to let consciousness transform into whatever it becomes during sleep, to exist without effort or intention, to simply be rather than do. This is sleep's gift, temporary liberation from the burden of consciousness, from the demands of maintaining a self, from the constant work of being awake and aware. Rest now in that liberation, trusting that you will return refreshed, renewed, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. But for now, for these hours, surrendering completely to the ancient rhythm of sleep, the pattern that has carried every human being through every night since our species began, the reliable cycle of rest and wake that continues regardless of individual concerns, as natural as breathing, as necessary as life itself, as inevitable as the stars continuing their slow wheel across the sky above you as you sleep. As Earth turns, as the universe continues its ancient patterns, and you rest within it all, small and temporary, yet part of everything, conscious and alive, yet for these hours releasing consciousness, returning to the quiet darkness from which you emerged this morning, and to which you return every night, the home of sleep, the place of rest, the deep well of restoration where dreams arise, and memories consolidate, and the body heals, and tomorrow becomes possible because you slept, because you rested, because you trusted and let go, and allowed the natural process to unfold, as it is unfolding now, has already unfolded, is complete, is perfect, is exactly as it should be. Sleep now. Rest deeply. Good night.